Okay, this fancy setup here is a Buret, okay, which is this glass piece down here, and it's being held by a clamp, and this clamp has got three little fingers, kind of like having a thumb, and then these two fingers, so it's holding the Buret in midair, and then this clamp is attached to a ring stand, okay, which is used to support the whole system. Now, a Buret is typically used for something called a titration, which is used in acid-base chemistry. You can see that down here there's a little spout, and we have something to catch the liquid as it comes out. So in this case, we are using an Erlenmeyer flask to catch the liquid that comes out. Now, this bottom piece, that's the bottom part of the Buret, has a funny name. This is called a stopcock. And after the giggling stops, and there we go. Okay, good. So hopefully the giggling has stopped by now. When you want to close the stopcock, you want to make sure that this is horizontal here, that this little bar here is flat or horizontal. When you want to open the Buret, you simply turn this so that this piece, this dial, is parallel to the little spout here. Okay? Now, one little piece of advice that I would give when using this system is you can see how the tip of the Buret is above the Erlenmeyer flask. All right, now I wouldn't have that set up that way. What I would do is I would, see if I can do this, I would lower this so the tip is just inside the Erlenmeyer flask. All right, and maybe even the tip is touching the side of the Erlenmeyer flask to prevent any kind of splashing. All right, so as the liquid drips down with this spout already inside the Erlenmeyer flask, this prevents any spilling that may happen. Okay, this prevents the spilling of liquid coming out of the Buret and then maybe spilling on your table. Okay, so this is the proper setup for a Buret. Now, to fill this up, I'm going to have to take this to a different level, literally. Okay, here is my setup, and as you can see, I've carefully placed this Buret on the ground. Okay, the reason why I've done that is because the Buret is actually quite tall, so it's much easier for me to fill up the Buret with this system on the ground. All right. It is also good because let's say that I accidentally spill the liquid that I'm pouring. All right, if that were to happen, the liquid would go onto the floor and not accidentally splash in someone's face. So it's really important that when you are filling up a Buret that you have the system on the ground. You can also see that I'm using a funnel here to prevent spillage because it's really tough to pour a liquid directly into the Buret. So definitely use a funnel. Make sure that the stopcock at the bottom is closed, and then you can safely pour liquid into the Buret and fill your Buret. You'll notice that the beaker that I'm using is also pretty small, and that's because most of these Burets only hold 50 milliliters of liquid. There are some that hold 100 milliliters or more, but in general, you're going to use, I think for most classrooms, they're probably going to use a 50 milliliter Buret. Now, if you come along with a really big beaker, okay, guess what's going to happen? This is going to fill up, and the liquid is going to spray all over the place, and you're going to have a big mess that you need to clean up. All right? So when it comes to filling a Buret, make sure that you place the Buret system on the ground and then fill the Buret on the ground. Once the Buret is full, and you can check for leaks even to see if anything's leaking anywhere. If you're certain that nothing is leaking, then you can bring the entire system back onto the table by holding the base and the ring stand. Okay, so just simply kneel down and lift both of these together like so.